because there's also in the industry of SEO a debate if GEO is exactly the same as SEO. Because in the end, what we have to do as business owners is still creating content, having a fantastic website, having a strong brand. So all of those things, you have to still do that. It's not like all of a sudden a new set of tasks or strand in ChatGPT. So all of those things have, to me, changed how I see search in general. But in short, GEO is an extension to me of traditional search, and it has extended the market like you cannot even imagine, because it's just early days. But Google had like 13 billion whatever searches per year or per day, and now Google is not the owner of the entire experience. We use ChatGPT, we use Perplexity, so now the market all of a sudden has.
Welcome to today's episode of the Ecommerce Revolution Podcast, where we dive into the dynamic world of e-commerce and uncover the tools and tactics that empower today's emerging entrepreneurs. Our podcast is part of our community with the same name. The community is geared to providing emerging e-commerce entrepreneurs with courses, content, and coaching to help you all launch and grow successful businesses. Check us out at ecomrevolution.co. Let's get things started. Welcome back to another episode of the E-Commerce Revolution Podcast. Today we're diving into one of the hottest and most misunderstood topics in digital marketing right now, and that is SEO, search engine optimization, in the age of AI. Traditional SEO is changing fast as AI-powered search tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI overviews reshape how people discover, evaluate, and buy products online. Our guest today is at the forefront of this shift. Jairo Guerrero is the co-founder of Organic Hackers, where he and his team specialize in growing traffic and visibility across both traditional and AI-driven search engines. He's helped brands 5x their daily traffic and land in top AI search results, sometimes in less than 24 hours, and we'll find out how. Without any further ado, please welcome Jairo to the E-Commerce Revolution Podcast. Thank you very much for coming today. I'm excited about this topic.
Hey, Ramin, thank you very much for having me today. I'm really also excited to talk about this. So yeah, looking forward to everything.
Let me tell the audience the inspiration. You wrote a fantastic piece on Substack that got my attention. Loved it. I reached out to you immediately, DM'd you and said, you must come onto the podcast. Please come on and talk about this topic of generative engine optimization, AEO, GEO. We'll talk about the differences about those in a minute. And it really much of it, and we'll put a link to that post. Everybody should read that. But before we get started, tell everybody where you're connecting with us from. Where are you in the world today?
So today I'm traveling. So I am usually reporting from the Netherlands in a city called Rotterdam. But today I'm in Valencia and in Spain, and just enjoying a little bit the late summer. Otherwise, it would be too hot in here. So yeah, that's where I am today.
I love it. Well, I appreciate the fact that, it's a wonderful thing to be able to travel throughout Europe. I've had the experience of doing it, and just to be able to go to another place and do what you do well, right? Continue the craft of what you do in another location probably helps restart the engines, right? Get you, feeling better and working better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, workation,
I love it.
As they call it.
Workation, yes. I don't know if we even take vacations anymore. I think everything has become a workcation. Well, thank you again for coming on, and I want to start. Again, that Substack post really got my attention, and a lot of what I'm going to talk to you and ask you about today is really kind of derived from that. And this is a very unknown, it's kind of a mysterious world that we're entering into. Search engine optimization, as we know it, traditional, is changing rapidly, right? In this world, we're hearing these buzzwords of GEO and AEO. But let's start at what we call a good old 30,000-foot view. Tell us about what is changing in the world of search engine optimization and what we need to just be aware of as these changes are happening.
So traditional SEO, as they call it, even though it hurts because it sounds like a very old thing, uh,
Yes.
it makes me feel a bit older. But anyways, traditional SEO, as we know it, is just the way that people can find solutions for the problems. It can be information, it can be a product, but eventually that has changed towards ChatGPT, just to name the most known LLM. But so behind the scenes, so what we need to do as a business owner, it has changed in the sense of the market is different. People that are using ChatGPT, well, we all use both. We both use Google and ChatGPT, but we use them differently. So what happened with SEO is that it got all of a sudden way bigger. Before we were actually simplifying our way of exposing our problems to Google because we know that it was a simple machine. So the queries or the keywords were actually framed from our brain towards a very simple method of searching. So instead of searching an entire problem, you search for best tools for small businesses. But now you don't do that anymore. You just go to ChatGPT, you tell your entire life. You don't search anymore like simpler. You don't make your problem simpler. You actually make it even more complex, prompting, you give context. So, but that all of a sudden didn't change our end goal, which is solving our problem. What changed is how we interact with the tool. Before we were just trying to make it simple for the machine because we know that the machine, or we understood the machine was not so clever. But now we are making it as complex as possible. We write huge prompts to make sure that the machine understands what we want. But what happens behind the scenes is that the machine just chops that up and makes it again a simple search query. And then either it takes all the data from the training data that they have, or they go and search on search engines. So they are using Google. There's data that reports that ChatGPT uses Google and Bing. So in the end is a lot more how we interact as users with the tooling that we have. But what happens behind is still simple search queries. We will go deeper into the differences,
Yeah.
but it's like an extension of what we used to have as a search engine optimization.
Okay, so maybe those long string questions that we're putting into ChatGPT or Claude, those are getting, as you're saying, chopped up, right, into smaller bite-sized queries, and then it's going out to find the information, right, that you're asking essentially. Yeah?
Yeah, it is. It is even possible to see which queries is ChatGPT creating from our prompt. So I'm not sure
Wow.
which version of ChatGPT. If you go to the developer tools on Chrome, for example, there is a JSON format data string that it will tell you the queries that they will be using.
Oh,
What
wow.
happens with the
Okay.
queries is not like so clear, but eventually they take your entire prompt and they try to understand what you need or what queries will be related to kind of get you an scope of all of it. But indeed, it kind of chops up the information and then it transforms that into even more simpler information, which is keywords, queries,
Okay.
and then you run
Yeah.
search tasks.
Yeah, and it's interesting, go back to, traditional, and I do appreciate the fact that, when we call it traditional, they're making it sound very old. Like it's,
Yeah.
and it's still obviously very relevant. We'll talk about the relevance, of traditional quote unquote SEO in a moment, but, that world was, you put in the keywords, like maybe two words, maybe three, but eventually over
Yeah.
time things got longer and longer, right?
Yeah.
As I think when mobile came into play, we felt this, we're driving around, walking around, where our brains were freed up to ask questions
Yeah.
or maybe expand, and now it's to another level inside of, the AI
Yeah.
tool of your
Hmm.
choice. Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. That's very,
Yeah.
very interesting. Well, okay, so this term, GEO and AEO being thrown around all over the place, we're hearing it constantly. Explain the difference between the two of them, and is there any crossover between them? Just so people
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends who you ask, because there's also in the industry of SEO a debate if GEO is exactly the same as SEO. Because in the end, what we have to do as business owners is still creating content, having a
Hmm.
fantastic website, uh, having a strong brand. So all of those things, you have to still do that. It's not like all of a sudden a new set of tasks or strategies have popped up. So behind the scenes, the optimization that you need to do relates a lot to traditional SEO. It's just
Okay.
now there's a lot more focus on specific quick wins. For
Hmm.
example, ChatGPT relies a lot on updated data or recent data. So if you publish content recently, it will likely have more chances to be quoted by ChatGPT, because ChatGPT eventually wants faster or more most recent information. So it gives the user the most uh, updated information, like kind of the news. So in that sense, for example, traditional SEO, we used to focus a lot on evergreen content, but that has switched a little bit. So evergreen content usually is very competitive. Uh, it might take not only one article for you to kind of rank on top. You might have to write a lot or create like kind of authority within that topic, as opposed to right now for ChatGPT there's this thing called augmented retrieval of information, and that just goes to find the most recent articles or uh, resources on one specific topic. So if while in traditional SEO we used to focus a little bit more on evergreen content, so content that is always good and it will last pretty much forever, to focus a lot more on we need to focus on things that are happening right now. So what is happening in the industry, we need to talk about it, we need to create a content about it, we need to keep our view on it, and that will eventually come down to be ranking a lot faster. So that focus is not like we all of a sudden stop doing content or focusing on providing value. Is like where we put our efforts has changed a little bit. But GEO, the way I see it, is a lot more focused on how how users interact with the platform. So the market has changed, the behavior has changed. So all of those things you need to consider if you have your audience in ChatGPT. What do you need to do in order to kind of cover their needs? What they are prompting, what how you can measure that, is any return on investment. So all of those things you didn't have to do when you do SEO, because the behavior it didn't change so much in the last 25 years. Um, you know what type how to measure. You Google Analytics, you Google Search Console, but now there's a lot of sets of tooling that you need to use for measuring what happens in with your brand in ChatGPT. So all of those things have, to me, changed how I see search in general. But in short, GEO is an extension to me of traditional search, and it has extended. It has extended the market like you cannot even imagine, because it's just early days. But Google had like 13 billion whatever searches per year or per day. Um, and now Google is not the owner of the entire experience. We use
Yeah.
ChatGPT, we use Perplexity. So now the market all of a sudden has uh, become exponentially bigger.
Yeah.
So it is just better. There's no like if you do GEO, you are not doing SEO, or vice versa, or
Right.
AIO. It is just an extension. So you need to rank on Google,
Hmm.
but you need to rank now on ChatGPT and Perplexity, and that just makes your brand more visible. So you
Sure.
need to still
Sure.
focus on those. But
Okay.
it is not
Uh,
like difference. It's not like if you do one, you don't do the
right.
other.
You're not
It's
doing
like
the other. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, and maybe a little bit faster. I feel that in the world of GEO, it's a little more adding speed to what you have to be relevant, right? Relevant information. People are asking things right now, so it's almost we're on this treadmill again of fast content,
Yeah.
getting things out there quickly. And is there a difference between AEO and GEO, or are they essentially the same? AEO being the answer engine optimization. Is it different from GEO, or is it essentially the same?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know which acronym should we use anymore.
Yeah, I know
I
it's
call it
getting.
G. I call it. It's getting very very complex. I only use
Yeah,
GO generative. I like it, but I
yeah,
got used to it. But I think GO and everything else can be compounded into one thing, which is, and including SEO, AI search.
right. Okay.
Search supported or enhanced by AI. So I like the term AI search because it kind of
Yeah, I
compounds
like that too.
everything.
Yes.
But
If
but no, I don't see necessarily like it will be like hyper segmented
yeah.
tasks for marketing. Um, but no, I wouldn't make a much difference between
Yeah.
AIO or GEO.
Yeah, it's like somebody came up with another word and they're trying to get us to use it. Somebody wins. Somebody's word wins at the end of the day. And I just like AI search because, we do that. I'm looking at how I do things and I go,
Hmm.
when I'm looking for something, yes, I have a prompt and I'm working on a task maybe in ChatGPT or
Hmm.
Claude, but I also go there and ask questions, and that's I'm searching for an answer really at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah.
there isn't traditional rank, right? There's no ranking that's happening. It's being discovered, right? In the world
Hmm.
of GEO, you're looking, your content is looking to be discovered. You're helping the engines find
Yeah.
the information, right? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the chatbots, they are helping you to do the searches. So
Mm-hmm.
before you used to have to think for yourself, okay, I want to solve a big problem. I need
Mm-hmm.
to chop that problem into smaller queries, and then I need to search for that. So it's a lot more work. Now you
Right.
just tell the entire story, and then ChatGPT will do that work for you. So
Yes.
it just changed how we interact with it. But in the end, what ChatGPT is doing is going to Google. Google has ranks, and then
Yeah.
it retrieves. So that there is a relatively good overlap between traditional SEO and GEO, as it is
Mm-hmm.
an expansion. So yeah.
And how does Perplexity do it? How do they play into this when you go on? Because that's a little more of a search experience with the AI approach. Are they also tapping Google or the rest of the web, or are they essentially creating their own search engine?
So as far as I know, every single LLM
Hmm.
that wants to retrieve recent information needs to do search.
Okay.
That means that they need to go to any search engine that they have access to.
Hmm.
There is a reported use of ChatGPT on Google and on Bing. Basically,
Hmm.
Bing is part of Microsoft, and Microsoft
Yeah.
owns OpenAI. So um, there is. I think I've lost your question. What was it?
Yeah, just more about the, how, Perplexity and is their approach slightly
Oh,
different
Perplexity.
from, yeah.
Perplexity is even more searchy, I'll say.
Hmm.
So they rely a lot more on. I don't know entirely how they work, but when I was checking whether my clients or myself appear on Perplexity,
Hmm.
they try to kind of be the substitute of Google, so that
Yeah.
the experience that they offer is a lot more based on the actual search.
Hmm.
Um, and ChatGPT kind of tries to help you out with completing tasks, so it kind of
Yeah.
helps you more to produce
Hmm.
things, ideas, and stuff. But Perplexity is even more search engine than
Yeah.
ChatGPT, I would say, from my experience.
And I would say of
Yeah.
all of them, I mean, there's always rumors that at the time of this recording, there isn't an actual dedicated search function, the true search in ChatGPT, but I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that I already see the autocomplete as you start to type things
Yeah.
in. That's happening. So there's a lot of, it's because we know that's what we understand as human beings. We understand the search experience so well. So why try to break it? Why try to change it? Let's continue. But have it powered by the world of AI. I mean, you could say Google's AI mode. That is it, right? Right there. That's happening.
Yeah.
So tell me something that's that I love and I talk to our clients a lot about. I call it a buyer persona. You refer to it as an ICP, right? An ideal client profile.
Yeah.
And you mentioned in there to talk to start out with that. Especially if you're a new brand, make sure you really really understand your ideal customer profile, your buyer persona, whatever we want to call it, in there before you even start to go down this road. I mean, I think that's a great. In general, a very good lesson for any brand to do if they haven't done it, if they've somehow magically, built a business and got sales and didn't really know who they were going after. Tell me why you think it's so important to go down this road first before you do anything else.
So I had many cases in which the SEO workout was there. So people were writing articles, they were upgrading the website, doing everything that you have to do by the book, building backlinks, digital PR, placements, and nothing happened. So traffic was stagnant, no leads, no growth, and they were producing relatively good amount of content, and nothing came back. So, and the main problem was that they didn't have the buyer persona or the ICP within their strategy. So they would just writing or popping out some content, but there was no reason for it. There was literally, why are you doing this? So there's no actual connection between what are you doing for marketing and the person that eventually has to buy your product. And that breaks the entire strategy. There's no results. You can invest. I got a client that had produced like 300 articles before I joined them, and they didn't have anything back. And I produced with them, I think 10, and within the fifth, we already started growing. And wow. And I didn't change. Like I didn't even write the content because I don't know about their needs. They have to write it. I'm not a writer. I can write about things that I know, but I cannot write about everything. So I didn't write the content. I didn't do anything in terms of hands-on. I just told them, listen, who is your client? Okay. What are they struggling with? Okay. And how you can solve those problems. Okay. So all of those three pieces together, you put them in a box, you go to check the search market, search volume, which topics do you feel more comfortable with, where is little competition, or even with a strong competition, if you have a strong brand, you could win still. And then it happens. Then it turns out that the people that were searching for solving the problems, they found you because you were placed correctly and you deliver a good value. So that is pretty much it. It is about finding the gap. I call it. I didn't see anywhere else this term. So maybe I need to lock it or something, trademark it. But it's the content market fit.
Yes.
It's exactly the same.
That is a good word. Yes,
fit.
I have not heard. There's there's the term market fit, but content market fit is that's very interesting. So simply by helping them, they pumped out all this content for their site prior to working with you, and you just had them take a step back, look at the big picture, and understand who's the ideal client profile. What problem are you trying to solve? And then reposition content going forward to be focused primarily on solving those problems, and all of a sudden the rankings start working, right?
And making sure that you match it, match it with the market. That is why I call it the content market fit, because you could just find the problems of your customers, but maybe the market is very small. or you don't have any chance to rank there because it's hyper busy.
Yeah.
It is the same as the product market fit. So you could be building the best product in the world. If it
Right.
doesn't have a market, if you cannot fit in it, then you're done. Same with the
Yeah.
content. You could create 300 pieces and get 0 results. You could create 5 pieces and get 5 times traffic within 2 months. So that's why it's so important. Otherwise, just
Yeah.
like blindly.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. There's, a term we use, slop. People put out that, they just pump content out, constantly putting content out there with no vision, no connection to their brand, no understanding of their ideal client profile. And by simply doing that, all of a sudden the engines in plural, the AI, traditional search start to get them. So that's great. I think that's a phenomenal piece of advice. I think that, if you're an emerging brand and you haven't done this exercise, do this. Sit down and figure out who you're trying to go after and reposition your content so you have content market fit. Hey, if you decide to trademark it, you've got the fact that you've mentioned it on air here. Okay, you can say, yes, I was the first to say it. Yes, exactly. I love it. Well, let's go back to this traditional, search engine optimization as we knew it for the last 30 years or so, right? Give or take. I feel that right now, a lot of people feel that SEO, the traditional, is dead, right? And you already mentioned it it's really one of the same, SEO and GEO. The same things are happening, but how, just tell me, should I be focused on keywords? Because now we're thinking questions, right? We're thinking about questions when we think about the generative engine optimization or AI search. But traditional is I go on to SEMrush, one of the tools out there, whatever tool you use, Ahrefs, and I do keyword research. Should I still be doing that?
Yeah, like again, that is the simplest and most developed data point that we have. So the keyword research, it is based on benchmark data. It's not like real data. There's not like 10 people searching for this per month. There's a lot more, a lot less. I don't like there are billions of searches happening today. There's impossible to miss in terms of it is very difficult to hit the miss in terms of, for sure somebody's searching for this. If I'm searching for it, for sure there's somebody searching for it. The problem comes down to how you transform that into millions of dollars of revenue. But keywords are still relevant because it is the most developed search data. And the main problem that we have is that we think that the keyword is the only target. But so for example, we say, I want to rank for best CRM system or best CRM software. And that term has, 500 searches per month, 1,000, 1 million, I don't care. What people always forget is that one page only can rank for thousands of keywords. So every single combination, so there is an intent. So why you need to research your buyer persona is because you need to understand what is the intent behind it. That means that if somebody is searching for best CRM system for a small business, then maybe you get that is a business owner. So now you know that is a business owner. So you have a umbrella of topics that person can be searching for. So not only CRM, they might be searching for payment systems. They might be searching for, Shopify issues or whatever. Like the keywords are still very relevant, but now we need to be able to group them by intent. And that has always been a good practice in terms of traditional SEO. And now with ChatGPT and LLMs, the intent has developed even further. So before we used to use only Google to buy products, to find information. Now we want ChatGPT for ideas. We want ChatGPT to even be a companion. We have a lot more intent. So the intent is pretty much what drives the entire keyword research or topic research. But indeed, the let's say the atom of, or the smallest piece of data that you can kind of benchmark yourself for your strategy would be keywords. Now, don't rely only on one keyword. One page can rank for thousands of keywords, so you need to group them, what they call it, cluster them. So somebody that's searching for best CRM might be the same intent as somebody that's searching for customer management system. So there's a lot of varieties of the same word, but everything comes down to intent, and the intent gives you the topic that you have to write about. And then it is about, so what you need to do is to analyze very much the search results. So to see, if, let's say that somebody's searching for best CRM system and somebody else is searching for best CRM system for a small business. So you need to see what are the results when you have those two queries next to each other. If the results differ a lot, that means that it's not the same people or it's not the same intent. So you need to create a different piece of content. But if both if both search results for those queries parallel are similar, that means that the same person, that is the same person searching for that topic, even with different terms, or the intent is very similar, which means that you could rank for both terms with one content piece. So there's a lot of understanding of the intent behind the person searching for it, and then see what type of content you need to create. And you could go very niche, you could go very broad. It's everything about the competition. Because also I see people forgetting that search is an environment with other companies, not only yourself. So you need to see what others are offering, how they are offering it, and see how you can add value there. And Google is full of crappy content, in the sense of like there's millions of websites that will offer the exact same thing. So whenever they see something that will be valuable for the results, they pick it up immediately. And that's how I steal competitors' rankings, because I usually work with brands that have a strong position, and then I transform all of that into search visibility. But it's because I already have an asset, which is the brand.
Right.
But keywords are the most basic unit that we can use, and please keep using it, because if you want to make it more complex, it will be that, just making it more complex. But use keywords, and I will advise people to use. There are two tools that are very useful to pretty much understand how people search. So one of them is Answer the Public.
Love that tool.
So I don't know if you heard. Have you used it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's part of Neil Patel's empire.
Yeah,
right?
so
He's got
he bought it recently.
Yeah.
I like that tool very much, because sometimes I don't even know how people search for what I'm trying to sell, or sometimes I just don't even think, because it's not my industry or whatever. Whenever you type a little bit or even Google it, then it will give you back like actual search terms. And then you can just dive deeper into how people understand the topic and how people are searching it. And another tool is people also ask.
Right.
Also ask.com. So that tool pretty much tells you what other questions have people about one topic. And that helps you to pretty much broaden your own perspective of the topic. Keywords, essential. Intent, fundamental to understand which keywords you need to group, and then grouping the keywords into clusters or groups of keywords, because then all of those could be targeted for the same piece of content.
So let me follow up on intent, because we've always looked at search engines as the place where people have intent, especially in e-commerce, right, to buy something because they're looking for it. Do you feel that there's more intent in in the AI tools out there? Somebody goes to ChatGPT and they started to ask questions about a particular topic, that they already have intent to make a purchase, find a service, buy something, acquire something, than they do on Google, or is it about the same?
Actually, I would say that in Google is still extremely transactional. In fact, Google So I'm going to tell you a small test that I did. One of
Okay.
my clients is in the psychology, psychiatry, mental health industry. They provide a service, um, and I I could rank them on Google, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find them anywhere in any LLM. No ChatGPT, no Perplexity, nowhere, zero.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts. And I was like, why I cannot rank uh, my client in this specific niche in ChatGPT, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
top three in many queries for Google.
Okay.
Now, digging deeper and actually asking the LLM why they didn't pick up my client, it turns out that the LLM was telling me that they knew about my client, is they didn't offer it as a source of information because
Mm-hmm.
my client had a commercial interest because
Oh,
they provide a
interesting.
value in exchange of money.
Oh.
Instead, what they took in for certain queries, they took scientific resources, papers,
Ah.
governmental websites, despite knowing about my client. And I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me, I explicitly didn't choose your client because all the content that you publish is
Mm-hmm.
with commercial intent. There's a conflict of
Ah.
interest between the user that I'm trying to help and
Mm-hmm.
your content. It does not match. I cannot serve it.
Hmm.
Um, so because of that, I started realizing, okay, Google is incentivized to push my client up because eventually we have to buy ads from Google
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes.
ads, and then if you rank higher, you are incentivized to be even higher and be always present into the most
Mm-hmm.
transactional search platform, which is Google. So I will say e-commerce actually, all my
Mm-hmm.
e-commerce clients, didn't lose um, they lose traffic, not so
Yeah.
much as other industries as B2B, but they
Mm-hmm.
increase sales, which means that the transaction still happens from Google, and the information, whatever that could be, it went
Mm-hmm.
to LLMs. So LLMs offer the
Interesting.
information without giving you the traffic, but
Mm-hmm.
reported growth on 10%, 15% of revenue.
Hmm.
And the charge of traffic is going down. So e-commerce is one of the most um, relevant industries to keep grinding on traditional SEO
Yeah.
because
That's a
transaction.
fascinating experiment. Do you think that changes? I mean, there's speculation that ChatGPT will have a checkout functionality soon. Does that change? You think that they shift more to transactional, or do they stay the course with, this? I mean, it's just speculation. Who knows if how what's going on behind the scenes? But there's a lot of
Mhm.
money to be had out there, right? If they got a piece of every e-commerce transaction that they sent through their system, um, it changes the economics of their business dramatically. But
Mhm.
as of right now, that experiment that you did is very telling of what content is there, what kind of content they're favoring at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, very interesting.
yeah.
What about the traditional, again, backlinks and mentions and PR and all of that we have relied on for so long in the world of search. Do they play a role also in AI search?
Yeah, 100%. There
Mm-hmm.
is one thing that we need to consider, which
Mm-hmm.
is like regular backlinks in which you just get your website or your article or your page behind a word. It is not so valuable anymore because it doesn't provide a context. So if there is a bunch of text, paragraph, and then your URL is in between, the value is very little for LLMs. We need to understand that LLMs just kind of read the content as simple as possible and try to find a context of entities. And if your website is behind that text, you don't provide any context of any kind. Your website is not even visible in terms of that context. So, so think about it like, for example, this interview. If this interview will be will be written and it will be published on your website. This provides a lot of context for both of our profiles and businesses, because e-commerce is related to my name, is related to my business, is related to your business. So there's a kind of context. If somebody's searching for best e-commerce podcast, now there's entities that relate your name, your brand, and the entire environment of e-commerce. So that if we wouldn't have even an backlink at all in the entire page, the text is providing that context, and LLMs will understand that your name is related to your brand, which is related to e-commerce. So at some point when somebody's searching for whatever those entities are, then you will be the chances to be ranked as a brand. So the raw backlink attached behind a piece of text, zero value. You could actually focus a lot more. I'm not saying that the backlinks attached to the to a text is zero value. They have still value, but in the era of context AI, and we just by logic, using logic, it dilutes the value. So all the ways to kind of improve the visibility in LLMs is to create that context. So you could participate a lot more in podcasts, you could participate in newsletters, social media. So all of those things just kind of increases your footprint online.
Right.
And the more YouTube videos. So all of those are sources for LLMs. If the LLMs are training in podcasts, newsletters. So chances are that if you appear on all of them, if you're very annoying people, you appear in every single place. If you publish on social media, chances are that you will be quoted and mentioned as a brand in LLMs.
Very
and
interesting.
The most powerful,
Yeah, no, continue, because I have a question about that.
The most powerful, so PR pretty much covers that as well. You are mentioned on the news, or a journalist give you an interview because of your approach on a specific topic. There you have it. Where do you think actually LLMs like ChatGPT are taking directly API connections to news assets, weather, stuff like that? So if they're connecting directly with the news, guess where you have to be? You have to be in the news. So
that's interesting. Well, you pointed out in that Substack post about your LinkedIn post. They got quoted in ChatGPT. I think also on Google too, within a day, which that's, to me, amazing. When you get noticed that quickly. What's the playbook there? What do small business owners need to be aware of to get that? Was that just luck, or did you have a strategy in mind? I feel like you probably had a strategy in mind there.
Well, again, social media is relevant data at speed, and as long as it passes, as the time goes on, the new posts get published. So social media is a fantastic source for LLMs in terms of they want to get the most relevant data and the most relevant information that has been published yesterday.
Right.
After I did that test, I checked the exact same query, I did the exact same checks, and I was not anymore top results. I was relegated to lower, especially on Google. I was relegated to other places. But I mean, one of the best things that you can do when you start in AI search is to try to cope a little bit with a broader strategy for multiple channels. That is a bit too abstract, so let me be more concrete. So if you're up to produce content, produce it in different platforms. What I said, if you pollute if you leave a trace, if your footprint is on YouTube, on Substack, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, the chances are that those sources will be faster for getting rankings than if you just only publish on your website.
Mm-hmm.
So now being multi-channel, so before we used to publish a piece of content on our website, off you go, you don't do anything else. But now you need to be active on different channels, and also because those channels can return business.
Right.
So now it's not only about exponentially creating more work for yourself, it's about restructuring your content strategy so you are visible on multiple channels at once. So the
Right.
most successful content creators are visible everywhere: Instagram, social media. And then if so an authority hack. So instead of appearing in the news, if you kind of pay journalists, well, if you kind of reach out to journalists and appear in the news, the best way to be in the news is being viral. And how you become viral, you just be on social media. And then it pays off double. So I'm on social media, I'm visible, people see me on social media, on LinkedIn as well. And as a side effect, as a byproduct, I rank on ChatGPT and Google. So it's like I'm like killing multiple birds at once.
Yes.
So yeah, it is it is it is very complex to put those two together because you need to master both social media or a specific channel and SEO. But yeah, I have a guide on that as well.
Beautiful.
But yeah,
We'll
there's
put a
no
link to it. Yeah.
there's no reason to not be present on multiple channels.
Okay. Well, let's talk about real quickly on-page search engine optimization or generative engine optimization. Let's put them in the same bucket. What, couple of things, 2 or 3 things that, an e-commerce entrepreneur can do right now today on their site, make changes. Should they put an FAQ up? If they don't have one, should they, understand their ICP and start creating, ICP focused content? What 3 things would you recommend that they do right away?
So an e-commerce website to win faster. One of the things that I always do is I simplify the navigation to attach to what the market is. So the content market fit, I try to reflect it in the navigation. And then I try to make the navigate.
Yeah.
So sometimes web store owners just create random categories or random collection or random product listings because in their mind the structure is like that. So these products are together. So I create a category on those. So that doesn't make any sense. You need to create a category that people are searching for. So your entire website needs to reflect the market where you're in. So if you have red shoes, purple shoes, and purple leather shoes, purple leather shoes woman. So all of those combinations and kind of structure of your entire website needs to reflect a search query, a search term, a topic, an intent. Don't create random collection pages. So that would be like kind of like more search, traditional search. That tip is traditional search 100%. Google will favor you a lot. Another on page, more specifically, I'm saying the one of navigation and the structure of the website because it affects every single page. So on page optimization, it affects every single page. Another one would be reviews. Implement a review system that just gathers as much quotes from your customers as possible, because that is taken as valuable content. You can publish it even in your product page because that's user-generated content. So if somebody's searching for very, very specific things, now even more in the AI search, we say we want these shoes that have this color and this size, and I wanted to use for running, but also for the office. So all of those information come from reviews. people telling, oh, this shoe was fantastic for specific scenarios for hiking and whatever. And whenever you're searching hiking shoes that are good for the office and for work and for training, then if there's a review on your product page that mentions that, there's a likely chance that you will be relevant for that user. So LLMs will pick you up. And another one will be on page. Sorry, I was just going off page. On page, I'll say optimize a lot for conversion. So now the chances that you get traffic is minimal. If you get that traffic, you better convert it as soon as possible. So don't try to acquire more. Sometimes that is not even possible anymore because LLMs won't give you the traffic. But if you get it, make sure that the transaction can happen easily, that you don't have like an ugly layout for mobile, that everything fits within the same screen, that people don't have to scroll down, that reviews, everything that is visible, everything that will trigger people to buy is there. Reviews, social proof, brand, pictures, everything. And that I see a lot of e-commerce businesses that just neglect 100% usability and experience.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and I think that yes, missed opportunities. I see them all the time, and these are relatively easy, additions. If you're on Shopify, get a review app. Install that. Make sure that you're actively collecting reviews. The navigation, you have full control over the navigation yourself. Get in there, and take care of it. And the journey, I think, is 100%, from, entry point, whatever that is, generally, homepage being number one, point of entry. How quickly are you getting them into the conversion process is huge. I love that. Let's touch on community, because you also mentioned Reddit. And I think Reddit is also this mysterious thing that, people use it. I'm on it. I mean, it shows up in Google searches all the time when you're looking for things. Why do you call it a gold mine? Why do you think it's a gold mine for AI visibility? Are the LLMs or ChatGPT client, are they also out there tapping into? I thought they were being blocked. I thought at one point they were being blocked by Reddit. Maybe that's not the case. Do they have full visibility on Reddit?
I don't. Yeah, 100%. Actually, ChatGPT relies a lot on Reddit. Okay. I remember, now you mentioned that somebody blocked them.
Somebody did, but they can still scrape. I think they can still scrape somehow.
I think it was, maybe it was not the same case, but I remember that I saw something about the server provider, which is Cloudflare, that had an option to kind of pay per visit to crawlers or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So you can make money out of AI tools scraping your content, which could be a good monetization for your business.
Sure.
But yeah, community. So that's why I mentioned reviews. So now if you have reviews, user-generated content on your website, that is the best proof of people buying your products, reviewing your products, authority. And Reddit is very much used for LLMs and for Google because it's just people really truthfully speaking their minds. It's kind of a way of it's a little bit like Twitter or X.
Yeah, right.
Where people is like drunk people telling the truth, kind of thing. So they're just being honest. They're anonymized. There's a little barrier of entry. These are a lot of community feeling in terms of if we're here, we're helping each other, kind of thing. Plus, people are responding truthful. Truthful content. How can I solve this issue? And then you have a bunch of people that are like kind of obsessed or really specialists on that area, and they tell you how to fix some stuff. The real hack will be not so much because how you can kind of get benefit of a community is by creating a community yourself. Imagine if you have a product, you create a community around your product, and people just interact on your community, and then if you let that scrape and be ranked, open to the public, then you'll have something similar to what Shopify did. So
Right.
Shopify, the business itself, not the platform. So the business has a community where you
Hmm.
have millions of people interacting with each other, saying, "Hey, how do you fix this issue? How do you fix the navigation? How can I install a new review app? Which one is the best review app for Shopify?" Chances
Hmm.
are that the Shopify didn't create any content there. It was the actual
Right.
people using Shopify.
Right.
So in terms of community, on community, I think the best scenario is that you create your own community, but that is like easier said than
Said and
done.
done. Yes. Yes. But can you
Another
go?
approach would be, yeah,
But you can go on Reddit and create, something around your community. You could create that, or you could
yeah,
comment, right? A lot of commenting you can do in
yeah.
in somebody else's community.
So there is this approach of you being genuine in your responses and helping people, and eventually you get the credit and the benefit of being visible. In the end, as people see you and they might click you, but it is not a social media like LinkedIn that people can see your URL immediately. It is something like you need to leave your website kind of in every single comment, I'll say, and that is that is not well received by the community. So you kind of spam, um, and the amount of time and effort that you need to put in a community where you cannot directly promote your product, maybe it's not the best use of your time. I see that there is agencies that are offering kind of a gray area of promoting your product on LinkedIn, on Reddit, which is they kind of have different users and they start commenting in different threads and they promote your product kind of not explicitly, but they put you like a good option. Um, that is something that you could do. Now you you risk yourself of uh, being spotted by the community, and community in Reddit they don't like that. I've seen people hating on promotions and a lot of spam on Reddit at this moment. You could do that. Then yeah, you have to be consequent if that doesn't work and doesn't grow your business. Um, and there is this other approach that you can actually be on Reddit as a brand. And then you just go around as a brand instead of being shady. You just go as a brand and say, listen, we're building this, we're being honest with you, and this is how you can solve your problems. Um, so that could be an approach as well. But I haven't done any of those. I
Okay.
haven't been active. I have a few clients that have a lot of mentions on Reddit.
Hmm.
Many are bad, many are good. I just don't know how to deal with
Yeah.
that. Like what
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna defend my client, of course, but
Right.
how does that help? Um,
Yes. Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Reputation
that
management, I think, at the end of
yeah,
the
yeah.
day.
So I'm gonna say, no, my client's really good. You are wrong. Like,
Yeah.
so how do I change the narrative? So
Yeah.
that bit.
It's sometimes opening a can of worms. Even when the minute you get in there and say something, yes, you could
Yeah.
get backlash. You could, people, oh, really? That's not how I think about this brand. But I do see the value, and especially if the AI engines out there are looking to it, and just like Google does. Sometimes I think the Reddit, um, Reddit pages rank. It's the subreddits rank, like 2 or 3 in
Yeah.
position 2 and 3. And I personally get a
Very
lot of
often.
value. I mean, yeah, I find tools and I find, companies that I want to work with through there. So I think it's great. You know, right now, you can go pop into any tool, Ahrefs, SEMrush, Uber Suggest, any of these tools to help understand your ranking position, to find
Hmm.
keywords, things like that. What tools am I going to use for, to find out how the
Hmm.
AI engines are interpreting my content, my data? I see that Uber Suggest recently launched AI visibility. Do they all have something
Hmm.
now? Does every one of these tools have something for AI?
Yeah, I think most of them
Okay.
have one. I don't know what is the quality of the data there, but
Mm,
right now it's very early, so
yeah.
pretty much uh, any tool that you think is legit probably will have good benchmark data. But again, it's just benchmark data, so it's impossible to pretty much know how many times your brand has been quoted for what prompts.
Yeah.
How do we prompt? We have no idea. So that's why
Right.
keywords are very simple, and there's a way for you to just lower your load of work, because keywords are keywords. It's just
Yeah.
simple. The data is there. But now for this analysis and AI search visibility on LLMs is very complex. I'm pitched every single week like 4 or 5 tools of this kind. So there's a lot of options. The only thing that I wonder always, I haven't decided yet. I have a lot of free trials, luckily, because people want me to try their tools. But I haven't seen first many differences. So it requires me to do a lot of work. It requires me
Right.
to understand which prompts I have to monitor, um, what on earth the prompt does, what results, how does it impact my business. So it's a very, very high level of, I think for big brands that actually
Yeah.
have millions to invest in research and development, fine, just go and put a bunch of money there, great. But the smaller companies, like I wouldn't care so much on analyzing to the bone what
Yeah.
is your visibility on LLMs. Like you have better things to do, like ranking on Google.
Right.
And
Where
as
you
long
can
as you're
actually see
there,
the data, right? You can actually
yeah,
see
and
what's
as
going
long
on.
as you're there and you can see the revenue, that's the problem. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. Big brands don't need the Coca-Cola, or I don't know, they don't need more revenue. They need more visibility,
Right.
and that's why they could invest and they have all the money in the world. So if you're a small business, don't worry so much about that. Like I'm sure that your own page SEO needs a lot of work. So don't bother on getting like the most fancy tooling
Yes.
for visibility. That being
Just
said, it's very
focus.
difficult to, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Do an audit, right? I mean, the first step, do an audit to see what's going on, and,
yeah.
talk to experts out there, like yourself, to find out, how do I fix, what's going on. Just tell me, as we wrap this up, what do you see the future of AI search? Where, if you could paint the picture of where this is going, what would it look like?
Coming back to what you mentioned about MCPs and agents um,
Yeah.
doing the work and buying straight from ChatGPT, I
Yeah.
think that is kind of what I want to see. Like I want my agent to do work that I don't want to do.
Right.
Apart from the laundry and cleaning,
Yes.
that cannot be there yet. But for
Yeah.
example, find best trip. I travel a lot, and luckily I don't have any boundaries when traveling. I can travel whenever is best. Find me the best schedule or the best tickets, whatever. Do your thing. Don't bother me. And then so ChatGPT will be able to buy, will be able to search, will be able to gather all my information, manage my email, my responses. So all of that will be like kind of like an extension of our own capabilities. We will have like duplicate of ourselves online that can do stuff. Of course, probably is a few years until we get there because payments, security, identity, and all of those things. But I think we are moving towards that direction, and I like it because that means that the market would just grow even more, and we have a lot of opportunities to a bit more simpler, I'll say, because now we are dealing with machine. If agents will buy your product, then you're dealing with a machine. So maybe machines don't need a fancy layout. They maybe need a different environment to buy a product. So maybe that could be a development of the strategies. Now people interacting with your website are not people, are agents. They are a lot simpler. Don't put weird stuff, a lot of JavaScript, remove it. So all of those things I think will come very soon. And first step I think is ChatGPT will launch e-commerce, and then we will just be able to click and buy straight from ChatGPT, like if it was Amazon.
Yeah, it becomes
Which
a marketplace, in and
yeah,
of itself. Yeah, we had a gentleman from Agentic Commerce, another Substack out there, and that's all they focus on. They have another company called Refi Buy, and we talked about painting the picture of your agent. You tell your agent you want a pair of running shoes. You like these brands, and your size is this, and in fact, at some point, you don't need to tell it. It knows all this because you've had these conversations, and you just say, "I need." A new pair, and it goes out and does that for you, finds it, maybe even negotiates on your behalf, in a scenario of like it finds all the right coupons that are available out there, tests them all.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And all that plays in. I think we're in this, fascinating time. You're sitting in it, you're living and breathing, SEO through one of the biggest shifts seen in decades in this industry. So here's my question to you, my final question. If AI could give you one superpower as a marketer today, what would it be? What would you want AI to give you that you don't have right now as a search engine optimization, generative engine optimization expert? What would it be?
A data analyst.
Yes.
Okay. I really need help with taking decisions, making decisions. And everything comes down because I need to analyze a bunch of thousands of rows of data myself. I need to see the pain points. I need to see the patterns. I think that's very, very complex for an LLM to do because there's very little context to build with no text. But I think it will be like so powerful. It will save me so much time. For me to decide which things I need to do, and in terms of just, for example, keyword research, it will be fantastic. Just give me just what I need to do. I don't want to just go through 10,000 rows of data and find it myself.
Well,
please tell me what to do.
You can upload data, but you use the word context. It doesn't have the context that it needs in order to help you make decisions based on that data. It's going to give you some ideas, but they're not specific to what's happening in that business that you're trying to analyze at the moment, right? Let's keep wishing for that. I think I can see that would change your day. Well, thank you very much, for coming on today, and I hope to have you on again because I feel like whatever we talked about today, 6 months from now, is going to be very different. This thing just keeps evolving so quickly out there. Please let everybody know how they can find you online. We know that you're on LinkedIn, but I'll put links in the show notes. But how can they contact you? How can they reach you? Where can they read about what you put out?
So. You can find me on organichackers.com. Of course, on my LinkedIn, you can find me with Jairo Guerrero. We recently, it is still like super early, we launched last week a newsletter. It's a lot more focused on e-commerce and technical SEO because we see that there is a lack of in-depth information about it. So we launched a newsletter. Landing page is still as ugly as it could be, but it's called the.organichackers.com. So like the organic hackers, So we will publish twice per month, and it will be we're gonna pick up our Trello cards from our clients. And tell you all about it. So we will tell you we fixed this on our client side. This is what we did. This is the issue, and then we're gonna give you a couple of tips, and then eventually a free resource. We create like a sheets and I don't know, documents, whatever, so people can get some value from it. So that is something that we are building at the moment. Funny enough, we had like 4,000 subscribers, but we didn't publish yet.
You gained 4,000 subscribers before you even published anything?
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed.
Fantastic.
And everything is everything that we have like in-depth content, in-depth knowledge, we will put it there. Like on LinkedIn, I don't publish this content.
That is amazing. I will be a subscriber. I will be 4,001 as of today. I will definitely subscribe. Organichackers.com. Is that how you're doing it?
Well, you can actually register in Organic Hackers. We have a couple of subscribe forms
Oh, good.
for the
Okay.
newsletter somewhere there.
Okay.
So in the website, you can just subscribe there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Great.
that.
Well, you are a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate you doing that. I mean, I do agree with you. It's missing out there, and I'd love to. It's almost case study because you've done the work, and you're now reporting back on what has worked and what has not, and if then people can take actionable steps and eventually maybe hire if they don't want to do it themselves, but at least they can learn and gain more knowledge on the vast opportunities that are still out there in the world of search engine optimization, generative engine optimization. We'll throw AEO in there too, answer engine optimization, all of the above under the context of AI search. So thank you very much again for coming on today. Greatly appreciate it. And we
thank you
very much. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you very much, everybody, for listening into another episode of the E-commerce Revolution Podcast. We try to bring you, interesting, informative content that can help shape your e-commerce business. Please subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get get this podcast. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks very much, everybody. See ya. All right, that brings us to the end of another episode of the E-commerce Revolution Podcast. Don't forget to check out past episodes, which are all available on demand on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. Ready to join the revolution? Become an exclusive part of our growing community of emerging e-commerce entrepreneurs at ecomrevolution.co. Until next time, see ya.